Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Rachel. And I'm so glad to be here with you all at the Global Engagement Summit. When I served as UN Secretary General, I was very eager to meet and collaborate with members of the United Nations Association of the USA because I know how committed and dedicated you are to supporting the work of the United Nations. Although I do miss seeing you in the General Assembly Hall, I am pleased that we are able to convene virtually to learn and listen and then to act. Because I saw the United Nations help my country to recover and rebuild after the Korean War, I grew up very aware of the impact of the United Nations. But I recognize that some people, including some Americans, might not be so exposed to or aware of the organization's work or results. That's why I'm delighted to hear that there are also many non-members who are joining this event to learn more about the United Nations and hopefully to become more involved on a domestic level. As allies for the United Nations, we have worked together on so many initiatives, including climate change. I understand that yesterday there was a session during the summit which focused on climate change, which is a topic I am very passionate about. Yesterday was also coincidentally the same day that the United States officially rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement. As one of the first executive actions from the Biden administration, this can be considered a great success. But the success is a result of many actions and work behind the scenes, including phone calls and meetings that passionate climate activists like UNA USA members made to ensure politicians knew the Paris Agreement was critical. But you might not know that the beginning of the Paris Agreement also involved a tremendous amount of advocating and education about global warming and eco-friendly practice. The Paris Agreement could not take effect until at least 55 nations representing at least 55% of global emissions had formally joined. This happened on October 5th, 2016, and the agreement went into force 30 days later on November 4, 2016, but could only have occurred because of the tremendous effort to advocate and to educate decision makers about joining the accord. The same type of advocacy and education is what occurs between UNA USA members and their members of Congress about an issue like climate change. Climate change has long been a focus area for UNA USA chapters and national programs and continues to be on the top of minds for so many, especially youth members. But unfortunately, climate change is not the only issue that requires continuous pressing and communication and activism. When I learned that under the Trump administration, the US had withdrawn from the World Health Organization, I was very disheartened to think that during the height of the pandemic, the United States would not be able to take full advantage of the collaboration, information, and mutual exchange that comes with participating in WHO was unimaginable. The United States would be cut out of the global system that's working so hard to fight and prevent COVID-19. But thankfully, the Biden administration has recognized the importance of WHO and rescinded the request to withdraw. This is from not only the highest levels of government, but also is a result of everyday Americans, including UNA USA members. I learned that the WHO advocacy ask was the #1 issue area the UNA USA members chose to contact their members of Congress about for almost the entire past year of the pandemic. What does this mean? This means that without a doubt, when you have reached out to tell your representative or your senator that being a part of WHO is necessary to overcoming the pandemic, they listen, they learn, and then they act. I have been so fortunate in my time serving as a Secretary General to witness UNA USA chapters localizing the Sustainable Development Goals and turning them into service activities and opportunities to improve their communities. From New York to Chicago to San Francisco, I have seen UNA chapters bringing together people from all perspectives with one objective: to take their idea or their hope or their dream and turn it into reality through action. In my role as a Secretary General, my priority was to mobilize world leaders to address global challenges. This is not too different from the mission of the United Nations Association of the USA to first educate and inspire its members, and then to mobilize them to ensure that the US government is able to effectively address challenges in partnership with the United Nations. Mobilizing means little more than mutual understanding, respect, support, and the desire to work together. I cannot wait to see what this group of more than 20,000 members achieves next. Thank you for inviting me to open up your second day of the Global Engagement Summit. And I now would like to introduce my friend, Angelina Jolie, who recently sat down with me for a conversation about international relations, the state of the world, and responsibilities as global citizens. I hope you enjoy our discussion, and once again, wishing you a successful and meaningful experience during the summit.